We all know that the biggest ever transfer fee for a footballer was 222 million euros, which PSG paid for Neymar back in 2017. But ever wonder who the most expensive managers in football are? These are the 10 most expensive coaches in football. Starting off with Julian Nagelsmann. At just 34 years of age, Nagelsmann was lured from Leipzig to Bayern Munich for a staggering 25 million euros, making him the most expensive manager till date. And turns out, it was money well spent. Bayern won 60 of their 84 games under Nagelsmann, lifting the 21-22 Bundesliga title and 2 Super Cups. Bayern saw Nagelsmann as the perfect fit for their tactical style, especially with his reputation for high pressing and intense football. But despite the trophies, things didn't go exactly as planned.
And that might do it. The referee from Slovenia has checked his watch. They're ready to go, and they've done it! Villarreal!
The German struggled in the Champions League, which saw his tenure coming to an abrupt end in March 2023, less than 2 full seasons in. His sacking was controversial. The reason? Bayern's standard of football dropped, according to club legend and CEO of Bayern Munich, Oliver Kahn. Bayern were only a point behind league leaders Dortmund then. Honestly, that sacking was harsh. At least Nagelsmann's time at Bayern wasn't a failure, because I'm not sure how I feel about Chelsea's Graham Potter era. Graham Potter made waves in the Premier League with Brighton. Chelsea took notice of his success and, in 2022, decided to pay a whopping 25 million euros to bring him to Stamford Bridge, equaling the record of Julian Nagelsmann's fee in 2021. You might be thinking, typical Chelsea, splashing money on the first thing that moves. Well, if you saw what Graham Potter was doing at Brighton, you would understand why Chelsea thought he was worth the money. But Potter's journey at Chelsea was turbulent. Despite his tactical creativity and reputation for developing players, he struggled to find a winning formula amid high expectations on a squad packed with new signings. In the end, he lost 11 out of 31 matches, and his time at Chelsea was cut short after less than a season. Potter wasn't the only manager that Chelsea hired and sacked soon after. Chelsea paid 15 million euros for Andre Villas-Boas in 2011, prying him away from Porto, where he led the Portuguese side to an unbeaten season and a Europa League title. Villas-Boas was considered the next Mourinho, young, charismatic, and tactically sharp. But the fairy tale didn't last. Despite the hype, Villas-Boas struggled to adapt to the fast-paced demands of the Premier League. His high defensive line left Chelsea vulnerable, and with the locker room reportedly divided, the pressure mounted quickly. Villas-Boas was sacked just 8 months into the job, cutting short what many thought would be a revolutionary era at Chelsea. Instead, it made yet another managerial failure in Chelsea's history. This abrupt ending made his stint one of the most expensive and short-lived managerial gambles in football. But enough fails. Vincent Kompany had a decent managerial career so far, and finds himself currently managing one of the best sides in the world. Known for his playing career at Manchester City, Kompany's coaching journey started in Belgium, where he was player manager for Anderlecht. He spent 3 years there before moving back to England to manage Burnley in 2022, following the club's relegation from the Premier League. Kompany took Burnley back to the Premier League by winning the division title, but were immediately relegated in the next season. But as much as Burnley wanted to keep him, when Giants Bayern Munich came knocking with a $12 million Euro bag of cash, it was tough to say no. Kompany's Bayern is doing well at the moment, sitting well on top of the table and is undefeated in the league so far. But Kompany's start to life at a new club hasn't been as good as this next guy. When Jurgen Klopp announced that he would be leaving at the end of the season, Liverpool fans were fearing for the future. But the appointment of Arne Slot turned out to be a stroke of genius.
Breaking news for Liverpool, the new manager is coming, Arne Slot. here we go. The agreement between Liverpool and Feyenoord is now done on compensation fee for the Dutch manager who already accepted the job and strongly wanted to become new Liverpool coach. And so the replacement for Jurgen Klopp at the end of the season is gonna be Arne Slot, who was close to Tottenham job last summer. Then he decided to stay at Feyenoord, extend the contract, but now he's going to Liverpool. Deal done, and here we go.
The Dutchman captured attention with his impressive work at Feyenoord, but it was his style of play and emphasis on control that made Liverpool pay €11 million for him. He has failed to win just 2 of his 15 games so far. I'd say that's a pretty good way to succeed one of the best managers in the club's history. Not to mention his work with Ryan Gravenberch. That guy has transformed into a beast in a matter of weeks. Next, we have Brendan Rodgers, who joined Leicester City in 2019 for €10.4 million. Rodgers had been impressive with his work at Celtic, leading them to multiple trophies in Scotland. Leicester saw him as the ideal fit to continue their rise as a competitive Premier League force, in an attempt to recreate their historic 2016 success by going for a manager who preferred counter-attacking football, just like 2016's Claudio Ranieri. Rodgers' time at Leicester City was largely positive, with the club achieving back-to-back 5th-place finishes in the league and winning the FA Cup in 2021, their first in club history. His tactics and ability to get the best out of players like Jamie Vardy and James Maddison made Leicester a team to watch. However, things eventually turned sour, and in April 2023, Leicester parted ways with Rodgers amid a challenging season. Now, Brendan Rodgers is back at Celtic, hoping to pick up where he left off. This next guy, though, is only just starting to make the front pages thanks to his new job. Ruben Amorim, the young Portuguese coach who made a name for himself in Portugal with Sporting Lisbon, has just been announced as Manchester United's new manager. He even played with Cristiano Ronaldo for Portugal way back. Manchester United splashed out €11 million to get Amorim out of his contract at Sporting and bring him to Old Trafford. The Portuguese is a modern coach with a knack for promoting young talent and implementing a fluid, attacking style of play. And that's exactly what Manchester United and its fans have been seeking. As Erik ten Hag repeatedly said, the rebuilding process at Man United will take time. Well, let's see how long it will take Amorim to get the club back to winning ways. If Amorim can have a start close to as good as Chelsea's new manager, United will be happy with their choice. Enzo Maresca, who joined Chelsea in 2024 for €10 million, has hit the ground running and has already excited Chelsea fans after many disappointing seasons. Maresca has built his reputation as a promising young coach, with his work in Italy and part of Manchester City's coaching staff, where he gained valuable experience under Pep Guardiola. Chelsea saw him as a fresh, innovative thinker who could revitalize their squad with a modern tactical approach. He has a really huge squad to work with, though. But it looks as though Maresca has worked around a solution by having 2 different squads for league and cup competition. Because they are doing well in both, and Chelsea fans are getting excited for the season ahead. Speaking of Chelsea, who can forget Chelsea's greatest manager in their history? Jose Mourinho's time at Chelsea and Inter Milan were huge successes. And when Real Madrid came knocking, you knew the big bucks had to be forked out. Real Madrid paid €10 million in 2010 to secure Mourinho's services from Inter Milan, fresh off his stunning treble-winning season. And moments of Mourinho-Guardiola clashes in the El Clasico were unforgettable. However, his tenure wasn't without drama. Mourinho's no-nonsense approach clashed with some of the players, and tensions grew in the dressing room. Not to mention the agonizingly long wait for their 10th Champions League title meant Mourinho was under more pressure than ever before. Real Madrid's 9th Champions League title was in 2002, and by 2013, and without another Champions League trophy in their cabinet, Mourinho and Real Madrid parted ways. But even this special one couldn't make the list of the most expensive coaches twice. Twice! The transfer to Manchester United isn't the first time Ruben Amorim has had a price tag as big as 10 million euros placed on him. He joined United from Sporting, right? Well, as it turns out, Sporting also paid 10 million euro to bring him over from Braga in 2020. This decision paid off handsomely, as Amorim led Sporting to their first Primera Liga title in 19 years during the 2020-2021 season. And to top it all off, they made a profit off of him now that he has gone to United. I'm pretty sure they would have wanted him to stay, but saying no to managing the mighty Red Devils is not easy. While his tenure at Sporting was a glorious chapter in the club's history, it also set the stage for his ambition to take on greater challenges in the football world.